Hey yo, I am the star in any room that I stand in. I am the standout, you just my stand-in. These bitches copy my homework, that's what they hand in. That's why I'm private like the airports I land in. Life is a beach house, don't let the sand in. I ball in any arena, go let the fans in.
The reason why I can't stand like the anti-black woman rhetoric that I see online is because, again, people begin to push stereotypes. And then what happens is women, non-black women, start to believe this rhetoric in real life, right? So these women from other communities, they can be unattractive, but in their brain, no matter how unattractive they are more beautiful than any black woman, because you come online and you slander the black woman to, like, you know, oblivion, right? So what happens is when they encounter me in real life, right, they encounter my fine ass, they go into convulsions, right? They go into convulsions, right? Because they've been told, I'm prettier than black women. I'm prettier than black women. Black women are not better than me. Like, you understand? And it begins to mess with their mental, right? So again, this is why I try to not entertain certain rhetoric online. A lot of times I report and block certain content, but it just seems like it just increasingly gets worse and worse, and these ideologies begin to carry over in real life, and I have to either deal with it or, you know, handle it, right?
I don't want to assume racism, but I'm a little bit confused when I see a video of Alandria at the VMAs looking really good, really pretty, really gorgeous, blah, blah, blah. And I see a lot of non-black women in the comments talking about overrated. What does he see in her? I don't see what the world sees. What does the world see in her? And I clicked on one of those comments, a few of them, and I clicked on one of them, and it was a I'm Hispanic disclaimer. So when I say Hispanic, it's not in a derogatory way. But in the comments, I clicked on the woman who's like, what does the world see in her? I don't see what the world sees. I click on it. She's a white passing Hispanic woman. She's very beautiful looking, right? She's a beautiful presenting, physically pretty woman. But she has a lot of she has a lot of enhancements, right? She's got lips, she's got filler, she's got enhanced body, you know, BBL, boobies, all of it. She looks good. Hell yeah. But when she wants to, you know, make a comment about a dark-skinned black woman talking about what does the world see in her, ma'am, you know, you are a good example of what the world sees in her, of why people are into her, because you went under the knife and paid for those features. And you look good. But I think it's like, why are we acting like we don't appreciate those features when we then go and pay for them? And I didn't want to make that comment to her because I don't want to actually make her feel bad or like whatever. But I think it's like, let's take some self-reflection, some honesty with ourselves. You do see what the world sees in her because you went and you wanted to present that way to the world as well. In a way, I'm not saying there are the features though that you weren't born with. I wasn't born with. God, what I would give, like.
Being an attractive black woman is a threat, and before you roll your eyes, let me break down exactly what I'm talking about, because it's not even just about the looks. It's literally about the way you walk in a room like you belong there, because you do, but also the way that you carry yourself when you know your worth, the way you set boundaries and you stick to them, keyword. That kind of confidence, it makes other people feel uncomfortable. Suddenly you're not just pretty, but you're intimidating. Your standards now get labeled as arrogance. Your boundaries get called attitude. And your presence, they see it now as competition. Period. But here's the truth. You're not a threat, but what you are is a mirror, because you're reflecting back those insecurities that they haven't dealt with. Yeah, they haven't dealt with them. So you shine light on the parts of themselves that they wish they had the courage to embrace. So keep walking in with your head held high, girl. Keep loving on yourself and out loud, because the ones who can't handle it, Well, the honest truth is we wouldn't want them anyways. They were never meant to stand beside you in the first place. So keep shining, girl.
Another quote that I really liked from this article is when Shelley is kind of like, a big part of who we are is that we're confident in ourselves. And Alandria responds, it's because it makes people uncomfortable. And I think about being like a confident, young, beautiful woman, even if you're white, that like kind of rubs people the wrong way. So if you're a dark-skinned black girl, people really don't like that.
People don't think that you deserve to think that you're beautiful because you're not supposed to. You are not the beauty standard, and therefore if you think you're cute, it's like, oh, you think so? The fucking audacity of you.
Right. I just can't imagine that other layer on top of it.
And that's why it would have been so much more impactful if American Eagle had cast Alandria. That would have been so much more impactful if they're like, she has good genes, because you know who's constantly told they don't? Dark-skinned black women.
So I have to just say this really fast if I go into dinner, but I have to say this. I am in my 20s and I've been to about 17 countries. Probably will be hitting about 25 countries by 30 years old. Okay, I've been to at least 4 different continents. And what I can gather and tell you for a fact to be true, black women are the most desired women in the world. We are extremely desirable. We are desirable in real life. No matter where I go, I'm loved, I'm cherished, I'm spoiled somewhere. The only man that tells us that we're not desirable are black men. So please do not listen to that. We are really that girl and we're really desirable.
What's up, y'all? I hope all is well. So in this video, I want to give some commentary in response to the first TikTok that I showed, because it kind of related to me to some community posts I had made a few weeks back, where I was doing some reactions to some of the clips I was seeing about the Love Island reunion. Now, I didn't watch the reunion. I didn't watch the show. I don't really know the politics or ins and outs or details. But I know that there was a situation where one girl who's non-black, apparently, like, the black girls were really upset. Those two really pretty, beautiful black women were really upset because they were talking about how she didn't defend them against some racism that was directed towards them in defense of her. And that they showed her all of the receipts and everything. And, you know, that she still was kind of like haughty about it or didn't really care and said, oh, I received racism too and this and that. You know, I mean, it wasn't coming from black people though, so that's the difference. Like, I'm sure the racism towards the black women was probably coming from her people and other non-black people. In her defense, I highly doubt if there were a bunch of black people making anti-Arab memes in defense of Alandria and Shelley though. But anywho,
I would also appreciate if you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you are not already and the content resonates with you. Welcome, as well as making sure you hit the bell for notifications so you'll be informed every time I upload a new video or go live. I'd also encourage you to check out my Patreon, where you can access old and exclusive content, as well as having early access to new uploads. That will be linked in the description box below.
So anyway, so that's why I felt like this was a good time to make this video, because I'm gonna be honest with you, sometimes I feel avoidant about talking about this topic because sometimes I don't even like to address this, because it's like I don't even like to give these birds the time of day of feeling like you getting somebody stressed, pressed, or irritated about your behavior by you caring and thinking that you're more attractive than black women or whatever. Honestly, I don't really care about that, and I feel like people who do really still care about that are like in a kind of childish mindset. I'm not saying that about this girl, because I understand the point that she was making in her TikTok, but I've noticed, I've seen that a lot, where a lot of people want to put the emphasis, and this is coming from both sides, black women and non-black women, want to put the emphasis on like, oh, well, you're just not as attractive, or you don't think that I'm as attractive, or you don't have to be as attractive as me, and this and that. Like, it's always like about attractiveness. And I'm gonna be honest with you, like, the way I look, like, you know, I'm not even trying to toot my horn, but, you know, looks, I've never been in competition with looks about other people. So to me, it's like the looks thing is not, that's not even, it shouldn't even be a conversation. And it's the same thing with the Shelley and Alandria girl. They are naturally look like that, very beautiful girls, whether they have makeup on, doing, you know, whether they're on TV or not, they would still give that, and they're still the type of chicks that y'all have on y'all mood board. The non-black girl that they were having the issue with, very different story. And I don't like to get into the looks thing because it's very childish and petty, but that is the reality of the world. You know, the world is especially for women, a lot has to do with desirability and things like that. So I get why people comment on it. I just don't have time for that, and that's never something I've really cared that much about or struggled with, so it's not a hyper fixation in my mind. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I've had to spend my life being more humble, myself down a few notches. Even when I hated myself for being black, you still know that you look good. So it's like, okay, a non-black woman could think whatever she wants. That's not gonna change, you know, how I feel about myself. Not to mention I'm not checking for the same dudes as you 9 times out of 10. So why do I even care who, you know, why am I even getting into a looks battle with you when I know and I feel like I look better than you anyway, and we don't even care about the same attention source. So it's like, who cares, you know? So I do kind of feel like when people bring up like, oh, these non-black women, they think they're more attractive. Like, it's like, who cares? Like, why are we even, like, who cares? People think a lot of different things. Black women try to shit on each other about looks, try to call each other ugly. So it's like, you know, it's kind of just a lazy argument. But my point is that I do feel like when it comes to certain scenarios that are more serious, it does matter. And so I'm bringing up the Alondra and Sally situation with the other girl because I do think that looks and that girl being insecure and having self-esteem issues, I think that played into how she treated them. And now I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not qualified to really give my perspective on this because I don't really know anything about any of their personalities. I don't know any of their lore. I don't know any of the politics. I don't know anything. I'm simply going based off the optics of the situation. So y'all could easily get in the comment section and be like, Ishtar, you bullshitting, this and this happened. That's not how it is. Like, okay, whatever. I'm simply talking about the optics. I don't really care about the scripted fake reality narrative that they're charging y'all $10 a month to watch. I'm simply talking about the optics. Nobody should be surprised that Arab girl would not defend those beautiful black women against racism. Nobody should have been surprised. Nobody should have expected any loyalty from her. Nobody should have expected a real friendship at all. And maybe it's easy for me to say because I've been growing up around non-black Spanish girls my whole life, looking the way I look, and I know the treatment. And if you got to run out, and like I said in my community post, if you got to run out and put pills and potions, you know, up in your crevices and up in your, you know, under your skin, trying to look like me, yeah, of course you're gonna be a mad ass bitch. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it comes with the territory. So no, I'm not gonna sit around and expect you to defend me against racism. You know what's crazy? The only people I've ever been called a hard R by or had racist attacks towards me was by non-black Hispanic women that were black fishers or mixed fishers. So I'm not surprised, and I genuinely feel like there's a pathology to these women who get all of this work done to try to look like Afro and indigenous Latinas and black women. They get work done to try to look like us, and then they view us as a threat, and then they be jealous of us. Like, it is what it is. And that's why I'm making this commentary. It's like, I don't care if non-black women think that they better than me or look better than me because I'm black. I really don't care. I already went through the motions of feeling like I'm ugly for being black as a child. So it's nothing you're going to say to me that's going to affect me, because their pathology never fails. It never fails. And I'm not wrong about what I'm saying. I'm not the only black woman that's saying that. So when I was on social media seeing black women, you know, acting shocked and surprised and crying and complaining that girl was not defending them, I'm like, are you dumb that I'm dumb? Like, why would that girl ever defend those two beautiful black women? Because in her male identified low self-esteem pick me brain, they are her competition. Not only are they her competition, literally her competition on a competition show that's literally based off desirabilities and male attention. So you're literally, that is a nightmare scenario for a non-black pick me. Beautiful slender black women that can get the top level of non-black and even black men that they want. They get access to the top pick. That is a non-black woman with silicone lips. That is her biggest nightmare. People who are comfortable and well-adjusted adults are not worried about that type of shit. You, after 17, 18, you should not be worried about racial hierarchy, competition, skin tone, hair texture. You shouldn't be worried about that shit. And you damn sure shouldn't be being driven to inject a bunch of foreign shit up in your body and get your nose twisted all up and, you know, putting all types of stuff on your skin for whatever reason. If you're past 20 and you still doing that, you have some psychological things going on. And I'm saying this as somebody somebody who worked in a Botox and a plastic surgery place for 2 years with nothing but non-black women. So this was literally a Russian spot. So I'm not speaking on this from just like, oh, I'm a black woman speculating and feeling some type of way towards the Arab girl. No, I'm speaking from like real experiences that I've been through. So I could completely understand where that girl was coming from, even though, you know, I don't know what context she's speaking on the situation from, but she's not wrong that there's a certain type of non-black woman that definitely feels that way about black women. So it's kind of a weird thing, and this is kind of how I interpreted the Love Island situation, especially based on the situations that I've been in. It's kind of a thing where they know subconsciously that you look better than them and that you have access to a higher caliber of men, not simply because of your looks, but because of your personality. Those black women on that show they're classy. They're, like I said, well adjusted in their mind. They clearly they're well spoken, you know, they're poised. I don't know what they do for work or what they're you know, I don't know what they do outside of the show, but they're a very different type of woman than that non-black woman that they were beefing with or had the issue with or whatever was going on. I don't know. They're just a very different type of woman regardless of looks. So of course she's going to find them as a social and desirability threat. So sometimes what these women will do psychologically in their brain to cope, what they do is that they feel like, well, I'm either not going to defend you against racism, or I'm going to make a racist or an anti-black innuendo towards you, or in my situation, straight up call you a hard R, because it's a hierarchy thing. And I want you to remember that no matter how much better you look than me, you're a black woman, so you're always going to be on this level to me. So it's almost like a punishment thing. Like, oh, since you think that you're my equal or that you're quote unquote competition for me, I'm just going to defend. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to defend you. And a lot of non-black women do this. A lot of them do this. They'll do little exclusionary shit, act like they don't know, whatever it is. They will do little funny stuff, and it's like almost like a punishment for you even trying to be their quote unquote competition, or trying to think you're even on their level. Or they just subconsciously know you're not on their level and they're resentful towards that, so they're going to not defend you as punishment for, you know, being an uppity Negro. You know what I mean? So it's a really weird dynamic. And that's why I was also, I'm not even gonna lie, y'all can say I have PTSD or I'm biased or whatever, but even before, when the show first started early in the summer, when it was still running, I was real irritated seeing a lot of black girls hyping the Arab girl up. Not because I'm a hater, like not because of anything, but it's like, why are you hyping up that behavior and saying, oh my gosh, she's a crash show, I'm the same way? Then in a few days, y'all gonna be on social media crying, talking about, oh, it's not fair that society gives non-black women a pass to act ways that y'all call black women ghetto for acting. So why are you hyping this girl up? And I'm not even saying you have to hate on her or you have to talk negatively about her or bash her or anything like that, but I just thought it was mad weird. I'm just like, that's very interesting that we're always hearing that, but like, she's literally the embodiment of what y'all trying to accuse Cardi B of being, when Cardi B is literally a woman of African descent. This girl ain't at all. And it's a lot of non-black women who are like this. Y'all don't give them half the smoke that y'all give to actual mixed women. Like, y'all will go in on actual, you know, mixed black women or African women of African descent. Y'all will literally go in on us and call us culture vultures or talk shit about us, try to disqualify us, but y'all was hyping up this non-black girl. Like, you know what I mean? And then when you get burned and, you know, she don't defend you and she show her true colors, that was always there to begin with, just by how she moved on the show. Because even though I didn't watch the show, I watched a lot of women's commentary on it, so I already knew what was going on. It's like, I don't need to watch the show to know the pathology of the insecure non-black black male worshiper. You know what I mean? Like, I've dealt with this my whole life, so I already know. And she's a woman of color that's not white either, so she's too dark to benefit from the Asian model minority privilege. She's too POC adjacent to benefit from that, but she's also not a black woman at all, and also not Hispanic, so she also doesn't have the negative connotations that we have in the Americas. You know what I mean? So it's like, and again, I don't even care about getting into that desirability bullshit, but that is what it is. So, you know, I'd had this video in my saved for a while, probably since like, you know, early spring, and I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I was thinking about deleting it. You know, I didn't know if I wanted to do commentary about it, because I don't even want these women to think for 5 minutes that I'm threatened at all or care at all about their opinions or who they think looks better than them. You know what I mean? Like, bet you won't ask your husband. Like, you might want to, you know, try to shit on me because I'm a black woman, but you ain't finna ask your man. You know what I mean? Like, it just is what it is. So people don't want to, they don't want to do the competition desirability shit, because nobody wins in that situation. These males are not a prize. They're disloyal as hell. They treat everybody like crap. So it's no point in sitting up here trying to have these racial debates with other women about who looks better and thinking this person is more on a higher level. It's just like, it's very childish and silly. Like, y'all should have been grown out of that after high school. But anyway, but that doesn't mean that these are not real dynamics in the world. Like I said, I've been called a hard R. I was an adult when this happened. This was a girl that I used to be in the club with, and we were friends and everything. She got mad at me, started throwing around the hard R, then want to pull the we both Hispanic card. And it's like, baby girl, you're not black though. I seen both of your parents. You look like a Mexican. I don't care where you from. You're not black at all, but you sitting up here trying to call me the hard R. But then now that you come to your senses and you're not drunk anymore, now you trying to pull the we come in all shades, we Hispanic card, because Spanish people pull that shit too, and they'll try to gaslight black people with that as well. And it's like, okay, well, if we're all the same and we're all mixed people and we're all different shades and whatever, why is it that the minute that you felt like your man was checking for me and not you, why you over here calling me the hard R and you coming at me with a bunch of racial attacks, trying to racially abuse me because you mad, but then you trying to turn around and pull this whole we're all mixed card? You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I don't really have a lot of patience for non-black women who are running around with the AliExpress BBLs and feel me, looking like that Muppet with the blonde braids. Like, I don't got time for that. I really don't. Because I ain't come off nobody's Dr. Miami table, bitch. This is thoroughbred, feel me? Like, don't play with me. Anyway, but yeah, like, sometimes you gotta make these petty little kiki videos. It's all in good fun. I want every woman, especially everyone of color, to feel good about themselves, to feel beautiful. I don't revel in these non-black women feeling insecure about who they are. It doesn't give me any joy to know that Arab girl on Love Island went through a hard childhood and she has issues with men and everything. Like, I'm empathetic to that. I don't wish bad on that girl at all. Even the girl who called me the hard R, like, it's fuck that bitch forever, but I don't want to see her dead or nothing, feel me? Like, clearly you got your own issues. Like, you ain't black, but you are a person of color, so clearly you got your own psychological issues going on, because if you're gonna come at me that way, then you probably hate yourself for not being a blonde white girl. So I could easily have one of my white girlfriends come up here and check your ass, and you would be beside yourself. Like, you so worried about your man checking for me, how you gonna feel when I get my blonde homegirl to push up on your man? You ain't finna like that, you know what I mean? Like, we could both play them pick me games if y'all want to do that. So anyway, because I don't care about these niggas, so it's really just fun and games for me. It's serious for you. Like, it's a competition. It's Love Island for you. It's games for me. And I also wanted to touch on one last aspect to this dynamic that I really rather not touch on, but I honestly have to, because this is the human dynamic that we exist in. Although I don't value male attention and I don't care about these niggas, a lot of other people do. And so I have to adjust my mindset and keeping in mind, yes, other women do care about these males. That being said, I also wanted to touch on some people, I guess, coming at Shelly, saying that, I guess, the dude that she's with, some black male who gives August Alsina vibes, if you know, you know. But anyway, but I'm not gonna hate on them, because I think they are a cute couple, and I just like seeing black women being loved on. I don't really care, even if I don't personally trust these niggas. But anyway, so apparently there was non-black women trolling her, talking about, oh, well, your man wants to be with somebody else. I told you, I don't know these people, but allegedly there is that dynamic going on too. And this is the other thing about this. Like the girl was saying in the first video that I responded to, she was saying, quote unquote, people get online and talk negatively about black women and the dynamic, and how people say negative things about us, whatever. But it's been a few days since I watched that TikTok, to be honest. But because I'm adding this part in a few days later on the fly. But I'm pretty sure she did not mention black men in that video by name. Maybe she did briefly, but she generally kept it to like that, oh, society says XYZ about black women narrative. And this is why I disagree with that whole like veiling everything under this narrative of society says XYZ. Because are there prejudice or negative stereotypes and rhetoric that non-black people may associate with black women, largely based on the media and stereotypes just in this country? Yes, absolutely. But these very specific attacks that are primarily online that really popped up in the late 2000s, early 2010s, that stuff is very directly coming from black males. So let's stop pretending like even if non-black people are going on to repeat this stuff or to weaponize it against black women, let's stop pretending like this online hate campaign that's been going on is coming primarily from non-black people or society at large. No, it's coming from black men. The black men that black women produce and are in the same racial group and community with and raise and take care of and all that extra stuff. And I'm saying that because why is it that other groups of women control black women, and black women of all shades? I know y'all like to pretend because of your black male worshipping pick-me cognitive dissonance that only dark-skinned black women go through this stuff, but no. Non-black women will move with the era, just like that girl was saying in that video, will move with an era towards black women, especially when it comes to desirability situations or like club situations like in my dynamic. They will move with the era of superiority towards black women, especially when it comes to black males, because black males collectively, even if they have not done it as an individual, have put out a narrative online that millennials and Gen Z women have become accustomed to at a young age. It's, you know what I mean? And a narrative to where if they are insecure, they will internalize that stuff and feel like they are racially better than black women because they're insecure as a human being. So that is the issue with trying to pretend like, oh, all of this bashing is coming from quote unquote society. No, when the men in your group are treasonous AF and they've already planted the seed in other women's heads that they're better than you, and they facilitated this dynamic to where non-black people of both genders feel like they can disrespect you or weaponize them and do little stuff to the point where they like I think somebody said this on Cynthia G's live stream today, shout out to her, was talking about how they will work at clubs and they will be the main bouncers keeping black women out of the club, sometimes based on skin tone but sometimes just based on being black. So it's like they have on multiple different levels been highly treasonous, facilitated a lot of hatred, especially more relevant in the last 20 years, a lot of disrespect towards black women, and they are the main people who have gassed up these non-black women, especially the weirdo ones who mixed in Latina fish and cosplay as light-skinned women. Those weirdo women that tend to be insecure and have mental health issues, they are the main ones who internalize that rhetoric from black men. Well-adjusted, self-loving non-black women don't care what self-hating black men are talking about. They don't care what they say about black women, and they're not paying attention to it. That goes for men and women. But the racist ones and the insecure ones, they are the ones who will internalize that rhetoric and run with it. So I'm saying that to say it's very important to call out, no, there's a huge problem when the men that you birth and take care of are facilitating all this hate towards you, and then non-black people are mistreating you based on it, and they're even going out of their way to at times facilitate the discrimination. That's not okay. This is a huge social and political issue that black women don't want to address because they're scared of black men for some reason. I don't know why, but they're scared of them. They're scared of their social rejection. They're scared of not having access, which is why they say a lot of silly shit. But anyway, so yeah, like that's a huge problem too. So I don't really care if a non-black woman likes black males and, you know, she wants to be in some fake competition. You know, I mean, anybody who likes black men is gonna feel threatened by me as a light-skinned girl with curly hair and a fat ass. Like, you know what I mean? Like I said, I'll play them pick-me games with y'all if that's what y'all want to do. But let's just be real here. So I'm used to the hate from all sides. Okay, but my point is that the problem is, despite me not caring, that is a real dynamic, and I've seen it firsthand with my own eyes. And I'm saying that as a woman with the way that I look. You know, I've been in situations multiple times when that's been the case. So that is a real thing, and this is something black women don't want to address. So yeah, there's a level of just general racialized, you know, female competition element to this, but a large part of this and why I feel like black women are so vulnerable to these attacks from these weirdo non-black women specifically is because of the dynamic black men have created. It is what it is. Black women do not go into non-black women's comment sections trolling, talking about, oh, your man
wants me. I don't care what you say. I do not believe there were a bunch of black women trolling Taylor Swift when she got back with Taylor Kelsey or whatever the hell his name is. You know what I mean? Like, we don't do that because we know that same racial dynamic is not set up. You know what I mean? So non-black women can come in Shelly's comment section and say that about her because they know the narrative that and the dynamic that black men have facilitated. This just is what it is. And black women want to keep trying to, ignore the issue and not address it by hiding it behind society. When honestly, society is not the people talking negatively about your hair. Society is not the people dividing you up based on skin tone. Society is damn sure not the people telling you have light skin privilege. We all know that. No, all of this is coming because you have internalized every single thing black males say, just like these non-black women who are insecure and ingratiate themselves into the black community. They've internalized it too, and that's why they think that they're better, and you keep trying to hide it behind society. That's why I cannot stand it. They're the three narratives that get on my nerves the most that I hear black women saying are society, privilege, what else? Oh, baby mamahood and accountability. Those are like the four most annoying words that I feel like black women should just take out of their vocabulary altogether, because you continuously use them wrong, out of context, and use them as a gaslighting tactic to reality. So I'm not going to address these non-black women in the context of dating and, males ever again, because it's not that serious. But I did have to address it this one time because that is a real dynamic, and I've been wanting to say this. Yeah, it's really sad to see women arguing about race and desirability politics in those contexts, but it is a real thing, and especially when navigating your 20s and, dating and things like that, these racial dynamics as it intersects with desirability politics are a real thing that we have to be honest about, and we can't ignore it. And I think that situation involving the black girls from Love Island and the Arab girl, I think that I think that that's a good learning lesson for black women. And I don't care what y'all say, I definitely feel like that girl is threatened by those two black girls. I feel like she definitely saw them as competition in multiple different ways. And I do think that playing coy about the racism thing, especially when the girl said that she literally showed her to her face, I absolutely feel like that was aggressive, microaggressive behavior. It's very passive aggressive, and they know exactly what they're doing when they say when they do stuff like that, because like I said, I don't know shit about the show, but wasn't she running around crying, talking about, oh, everybody's against me, nobody's defending me, this and that? So it's like, you see, they be feeling so, and I've had this happen to me also, they feel so entitled to your support, to you being an emotional support mechanism for them, you defending them, but you literally getting racist attacks against you, and they can't say jack shit about that. You having misogynistic men come at you or disrespect you. They not there to defend you or have your back, but they expect black women to provide emotional support and to come to their defense. Like, this shit be mad annoying. So it's not that I'm just trying to hate on the Arab girl, but I just feel like y'all be hyping these women up, and then when you get burned, and then you want to cry boo-boo tears. Like, say what you want about me, I never expected loyalty from these women. So like, I never pretended that it wasn't what it was. I'm a feminist. I don't care about these men, but I know the vast majority of women are male centered. So I know how things are. Feel me? So, we could play them games if you want to play, because it's serious for you. It's not serious for me. So yeah, anyway, get in the comment section. Let me know what y'all thought about this. Get in the comment section. Yeah, tell me what y'all thought about the situation from Love Island too. Thanks for the support. Peace.